Tutorial here about how to figure out molecular geometry or electron arrangement. First thing you do if you're asked a question like the one that was just asked is you draw the Lewis structure of whatever molecule you were given, okay? I'm not going to use the same example because I want you to actually go back at one point to the video, but in general, if you absolutely can't remember how to draw Lewis structures, I'm putting up a little sign right here. It's not going to be a link right now, but I'll write a note at the bottom of the page whenever I get a chance. I'll let it make it into a link. Click here and I'll try to have another video just revising how to go ahead and draw Lewis dot structures or Lewis structures, okay? For now, I'm going to use two examples. I'm going to say, let's say we were given water, so that's easy, and yeah, that's why. And the other example will be methane. And I'm just going to go ahead and draw them. Okay, so the first step is you're going to draw the Lewis structure. Okay, now the second step, you ask yourself electron pairs. Okay, you're going to ask yourself how many pairs of electrons around the central atom. Okay, how many pairs? How many sets of 2 electrons around the central atom? Now I hope you notice that in both cases of what I drew, I have 4 pairs of electrons around the central atom. In carbon, I have 1, 2, 3, In methane, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. And in water, I also have 1, 2, 3, 4. When I ask myself this question, I really don't care what electrons are bonding, what electrons are not bonding. I just want to know how many electron pairs. If I'm asked for the electron arrangement around the central atom, which is the question that was asked previously, then this would be my answer. The electron arrangement is simply how many pairs of electrons, regardless of whether they're bonding or whether they're not bonding, okay? So if I'm asked for the electron arrangement, then both of these molecules would have the electron arrangement called tetrahedral, okay? Tetrahedral, which means that a rough estimate of the bond angles or the angles between electron pairs should be around 109.5 degrees, okay? Now, sometimes they don't ask you for the electron arrangement, sometimes they ask you another question. Sometimes they ask you for the actual molecule shape, okay? So I'm gonna put the question. If they ask you what the shape of the molecule is, now you have an additional question that you wouldn't have to ask yourself otherwise. But if they ask you for the shape of the molecule, now we have this extra question. We have to start differentiating now between which of these electron pairs are in a bond and which are lone pairs around the central atom. So in the case of methane, I've got 4 sets of electrons around carbon and they're all bonding. Whereas in the case of dihydrogen monoxide, what I wind up seeing is I only see 2 bonds here and 2 lone pairs, okay? That's going to change the shape of the molecule itself. Now, in the case of methane, because they have the electron pair arrangement is tetrahedral, and all 4 of these pairs are participating in bonds, so the shape of methane is also tetrahedral. That was easy. Both the shape and the electron configuration are tetrahedral. In the case of water, however, because I have 2 lone pairs and then 2 bonding pairs, now the shape of the molecule itself is not tetrahedral. The shape would be called bent. Yes, that's my battery dying probably. Okay, the shape would be bent. And these are things that you absolutely must memorize. There's table after table after table in chapter 10 in your book on it. You definitely have to always follow these 3 steps. You draw your Lewis structure first, then you keep your eye on the prize. We're really only concerned with whatever's coming out of the central atom, unless they specifically ask you otherwise. So the first question you ask yourself, and sometimes you can stop here, the first question you ask yourself is how many pairs of electrons are coming out of the central atom. That'll give you the arrangement of electrons, okay, around the central atom. And then the second question you ask yourself is, are all of the pairs bonding? Because if they're not, then the shape and the electron configuration won't be the same thing, okay? Now, what I want you to do, hope this works, now that we've done this review, I want you to go back to the original question. So try to click on this. I'm going to try to make this, actually wait, let me put it on this side. Try to click on this. I'm going to make it into a button, inshallah. And go back to the original video and try to go ahead and follow the 3 steps or the 2 steps depending on what we asked and answer the question. Good luck.